So by now, we've probably seen this story somewhere about these white South African supposed refugees coming to the United States. Obviously, this country has some issues with racism because some immigrants are welcome, some are not. And I guess if you're white, you're more welcome because they're acting, well, Trump is acting like these people are being persecuted and ran out and facing all kind of violence. But if you're browner, you're probably not facing all of that. And he's willing to send you to El Salvador to concentration camps. But, that's neither here nor there. These people have come here. They are white South Africans. I am going to come back to this story in just a moment because we need to talk about some other people who are white South Africans, like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. And you may have heard of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel has bought and paid for JD Vance. Peter Thiel is a man behind the scenes, a money man. And we're going to talk about this article, how the roots of the PayPal Mafia extend to apartheid South Africa. This situation with these South African supposed refugees, like this has tentacles. This story does have tentacles. When Elon Musk's arm shot out in a stiff arm salute at Donald Trump's inaugural celebrations, startled viewers mostly drew the obvious comparison. But in a fired up debate about Musk's intent that followed, as the world's richest man insisted he wasn't trying to be a schnazi, speculation inevitably focused on whether his roots in apartheid era South Africa offered any insight. In recent months, Musk's promotion of far right conspiracy theories has grown from a deepening hostility to democratic institutions to the recent endorsement of Germany's far right AfD. He has taken an unhealthy interest in genetics while backing claims of a looming white genocide in his South African homeland and endorsing posts promoting the racist Great Replacement conspiracy theory. Increasingly, his language and tone have come back to echo the old South Africa. This part. He is not alone. Musk is part of the PayPal Mafia of libertarian billionaires with roots in South Africa under white rule, now hugely influential in the U.S. tech industry. They include Peter Thiel, the German-born billionaire venture capitalist and PayPal co-founder who was educated in a southern African city in the 1970s, where Schnitzler was still openly venerated. Thiel, a major donor to Trump's campaign, has been critical of welfare programs and women being permitted to vote as undermining capitalism. A 2021 biography of Thiel called The Contrarian alleged that as a student at Stanford, he defended apartheid as economically sound. So, Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel owns JD Vance. Peter Thiel donated a lot of money to help JD Vance morph into this character we see now, because we do remember him as this pudgy politician who couldn't stand Donald Trump. And now he is a Trump sycophant just parroting everything that Trump says. This is no coincidence. So now we have the South African refugees coming here. A group of 59 white Afrikaners who have been given refugee status by the Trump administration arrived at Dulles Airport outside of Washington, D.C. on Monday in a charter flight paid for by the U.S. government. Remember, we're trying to cut costs and everything, but now we're using American taxpayers' money to bring these people over while we're using some money to ship other people away, even people that were here that were applying for asylum and trying to get away from the violence of their country. These people have the right amount of melanin or lack melanin. The Afrikaners, descendants of mainly Dutch colonists, left Johannesburg on Sunday night. They were seen at the airport in Johannesburg with carts full of suitcases, but declined to speak to the media. They are being greeted by U.S. officials and are expected to give a news conference shortly. One document seen by NPR said there would be food and items for the children upon arrival. It said the Refugee Services Office of the Catholic Diocese of Virginia would be on site to offer assistance. After the press conference, the families will depart for their end destinations in several states, including Minnesota, Nevada, and Idaho. This is the part that I'm wondering if MAGA is going to take exception to. The South Africans will now have a pathway to U.S. citizenship and be eligible for government benefits. They are about to give benefits to these people where folks here in America are getting their benefits swiped and slashed. All right, another document seen by NPR included detailed guidance for the South Africans arriving. American family members of the Afrikaners granted refugee status would be asked to help them. Those who didn't have family in the country would be placed in a location that has a local organization to provide you with support. Your case manager will pick you up from the airport and take you to, okay, so this is just, logistics. Okay, this part. The South Africans are also informed you are expected to support yourself quickly in finding work. Adults are expected to accept entry-level employment in fields like warehousing, manufacturing, and customer service. You can work towards higher level employment over time. However, the document stated that any credentials from your home country may not automatically transfer to the United States. That last point of interest to many Afrikaner applicants, some of whom are farmers and have previously told NPR they hope to continue farming in the United States. Farming in the United States as labor is being shipped off in these mass deportations as these farms are crumbling. These people are farmers. Like we're putting all of this together. This part is just talking about how Trump said that these South Afrikaners were treated unfairly, and that's the reason why they're cutting off aid to South Africa. They're just kind of besmirching the South African government. And then Trump talking about it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about. Trump told journalists they happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally unalived and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. So he's talking about a genocide in Africa, but is he talking about what's going on in the Congo, what's going on in Sudan, any of those conflicts that are definitely leading to people that need refugee status? He's absolutely not saying anything because those people are not white. He's talking about this is not about black or white. It is absolutely about what's black or white because there are plenty of genocides and conflicts and violence going on over in countries in Africa that he's not addressing. I wanted to get to this part before I moved on. Many South Africans have taken to social media to post memes and comedic videos, casting doubt on claims that whites who leave for the U.S. are persecuted, joking that they will miss their privileged lives, domestic workers, and beach holidays. These people, despite the fact that they are white South Africans, they're still going to be on the bottom of the hierarchy coming here because they are not going to have the money. They're not going to necessarily fit in. They're not going to be privileged over here. They're going to probably fit in with poor MAGA as far as how, the level that they're on, even though they're going to be given benefits. So if these people are generally used to living privileged lives and having domestic workers and beach holidays, and now they have to go out and get these menial jobs, how are they really going to live? How are they going to feel about being here in the United States? And remember what I said about JD Vance being owned by Peter Thiel. Well, JD Vance funded AcreTrader. AcreTrader buys farmland from distressed farmers for pennies on the dollar. Now they have these acres of land. They have all these acres of land, and more farmers are about to start losing their farms because of the economic policies of Trump. So all of this is starting to kind of come together. They're going to still need people to work these lands, and these people will have no choice but to get jobs. Is this going to be something like a sharecropping situation? AcreTrader is just one of the many companies launched in the past decade that facilitate the sale of farmland, which has increasingly become a staple in investor portfolios. Recently, it was revealed this included the investment portfolio of VP JD Vance, a Republican originally from Ohio, that was bought by Peter Thiel. Vance invested up to $65,000 in private investments in AcreTrader during his stint as a venture capitalist, according to his 2022 financial disclosures to the Senate Ethics Committee, the investment firm Naria Capital, which Vance launched in 2020 with the backing from PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. I am bringing this all together. We see that this has been a plan for a while. So now they have these farms in economic distress. They're running out the workers. They're bringing refugees here, calling them refugees. Is all of this starting to connect in some kind of way? Anyways, let me know what you think about all of this put together.